Imagine if you could view and describe an item or location that's on the other side of the world. Perhaps it's in a place that you've never visited. This item may be in a place now, it could be in the past, it could be in the future. Perhaps the item is even in a locked container. Perhaps it's even a person. Think of the possibilities that would give you. Hello, I'm Dawn, and in today's video I'll be sharing with you a technique called remote viewing. So remote viewing is the ability to view a target by establishing an energetic link to it. It's a technique originally developed for and utilised by the Department of Defense in the USA for intelligence gathering and collection purposes decades ago during the Cold War. Now, they were keenly interested in spying, but from the comfort of the base. The military hired Stanford Research Institute, or SRI, to research clairvoyance, telepathy and other forms of ESP. So there were two physicists at SRI, Russell Targ and Hal Puthoff, and eventually they ended up working with a psychic artist named Ingo Swann. And it was Swann who developed a written set of protocols to be worked on paper within a structure. And he called this coordinate remote viewing, which is now known as controlled remote viewing, or CRV. Now, the protocols have been unclassified and they can be found online, and they're being taught around the world by various organisations and teachers who've been trained by the original remote viewers using the method. So I want us to be clear. So what we're going to practice today is a form of remote viewing, but more accurately, it's a process that will help you to use your psychic senses, to train your psychic senses, to see, feel and sense a location. It's my version, and it's one that I was taught to use in the UK more than 2 decades ago to help me to develop as a medium. So it's not the military protocol, although there will be some similarities. So I'm going to take you through my process for clearing my mind and locking onto the target, and then you can have a go yourself. So this is another fun activity that you can do to increase your sensitivity to unconscious information and develop your psychic skills. It is quite hard to do on your own, as you will need to enlist the help of a friend who'll provide you with a photograph or photographs. So you'll definitely need to find somebody. But it's a great activity to do if you're sitting in a psychic development circle. And it does have so many different ways that you can do it. And I will be posting more videos in the coming weeks on the different variations, so stay tuned for those. But before I take you through my process, I do want to touch on the different ways in which we receive non-physical or psychic information, because that's important for us to know and understand. For some of us, we see in pictures and images. And sometimes this can be still images like photographs, or sometimes they're moving images like a movie. And this is known as clairvoyance or clear seeing. Others will hear information, and this could be like a narrative that's running in your head, and it's usually in your own voice. And this is known as clairaudience or clear hearing. For some, you will have physical sensations, emotions and feelings, and this is called clairsentient, or that translates to clear feeling. And finally, there is claircognizance, which is clear knowing. And it's really a hard one to describe, because a person with this preference just knows the information. They don't know where from, they just know it. Now, most of us will have one clear preference, as well as a couple of other ways that they do interpret information, but these aren't the main ones that we rely upon. So for me, I see images, so clairvoyance, often like movies that are playing. It's a bit like an old black and white flickering movie of the 1920s. And I'm also clairsentient, so I can experience physical feelings and sensations as well as emotions. So they're my two main ones. The least well developed for me are hearing and knowing, so they're still work in progress. So when we're remote viewing, the information we usually get first will be through our preferred way of receiving this type of information. However, I don't want you to stop there. I want you to explore all of the senses and really interrogate them for further detail. Now, to practice this activity with us today, you'll need some paper and something to write with. And I'm going to talk you through my process first. So the first step is to prepare. Obviously, you'll need a target. So you can ask a friend or somebody that you know to get a photograph, maybe one from the internet or one from their personal collection, that they can pop in an envelope for you. And make sure that the image isn't going to be of a disturbing nature or upsetting in any way. They can be people, places, or things. And as I say, you're going to ask the friend who's helping you to put the photographs into an envelope and then give the envelope a number. And the number's really important as it helps you to kind of hone in on the target or lock on. So if you have a couple of photographs, each one will need to be in a separate envelope and have a different number. I think originally the military used map coordinates, but that's not how I do it or how I was taught to do it. So preparing for me is also about gathering my paper and pens and getting that down. I write some prompts on the paper. I ask, what can I see, what can I hear, what can I feel, what can I smell, and what do I know about this target. I also like to write the date and the name of me who's doing the session. And the prompts on the paper helps me to interrogate my senses fully. I'll talk a little bit about what that looks like for me in a moment, but having those prompts just helps me to work through. It helps me to make my remote view successful. Other things to think about for remote viewing is you want some quiet time because you don't want to be rushed. You also want a place where you won't be disturbed. And you'll also want to clear your mind, and that's step 2. And it's easier said than done because we are used to constant stimulation and chatter. So as soon as we clear our mind, it kind of fills up again with lots of useless questions. So this does take some practice, and meditating regularly definitely helps with that. So in a remote view session, I like to take some time to ground and center my energy. So I focus in on my breath, and if a thought enters my mind, I try and let it go. And then when I'm ready to start the session, I lock into the target. And I'm going to talk about that now because that's step 3, locking into the target. I like to formally start the session by saying something like, I am locking into location 1, if that's the number. And then I just put down any impressions or images that come to me. I use words, but then I also sketch shapes or images. It's just kind of a free flow. And you can also audio record your session as well with the audio function on your phone. And you can do the writing, the sketching and the speaking all together. I do like to have something to do with my hands, so sketching and writing is important to me. And then I work through my senses. So when I'm tuning into what can I see, I like to sketch shapes and anything else that becomes visible to me in my mind's eye. Is there imagery that can be seen that I can describe with words? You can also move around the target so you can see it from different perspectives. You can go above it and see it from the air and move around it from the ground as well. So when I think that I've explored everything that I've seen, I move on to what I can feel and I tune in. Now I might be feeling emotions, but I also might be able to feel physical feelings. So like temperature, is it hot or is it cold? Can I feel what's beneath my feet? Maybe I can reach my hand out and touch something and see what type of material it's made of. Again, when I think I've explored everything, I go on to look at what I can hear. So what noises can I tune into? Animals, machinery, birds, traffic, people, all of those things. And then what can I smell? Are there any scent associations with the place? And finally, is there any information that's just coming to me that I know? Now, one of the most important things to avoid is judging what's coming to you. Describe as much as possible and let it come in whatever way it comes. It's almost like a stream of consciousness. Don't dismiss anything, because what have you got to lose? If it's wrong, it's no big deal, right? And then stage 4 is to end the session. So when you feel you've got everything that you can from the target, I like to formally end the session by saying something like, "It is done," and I'll put my pen down. And then it's important to drink some water, because when you're working psychically, you can dehydrate really, really quickly. So it's good to have something to drink. And then the final stage is stage 5, and it's review your results. So open the envelope and review the image. See how much it matches your descriptions and drawings. And if you have more envelopes to move on, you can work on the next envelope. Now, there are a couple of things which will make your sessions more effective, and I want to go through. So definitely describe, not identify. So this means your job is to describe what you get in, not to try and identify or guess the location or name it. If names do pop in your head, just write them to the side of the page, but carry on with describing. And write everything down, or if you're recording it, say everything. Don't dismiss anything or discount it. And use all your psychic senses. Don't just resort to your preferences. And that's why it's good to have those written prompts down. And don't judge what comes through. So, okay, let's practice. So in order to do that, you're going to need some paper and a pen and some quiet time. You also might want to review the process again so that you're clear about what I'm asking you to do. So I've placed 3 different images in an envelope each and given them a number 1, 2, and 3. I have a photograph in each envelope, and you'll see this on the video. I'm going to put a visual of the target so that you can lock in. So you're going to start with envelope 1, and you're going to go through the process, and then you're going to work through envelope 2 and then 3. And when you've completed all 3 envelopes, continue watching the video, because I will be revealing the target for each. You can then review your notes with the pictures and see how you did. And remember, it's just for fun, and it's a great way to practice and develop your psychic senses. So are you ready to begin? So this is the start of the remote viewing activity and exercise. So I hope that you've got your pen and paper in front of you. You've written the time, the date, and your name on the paper, and also those prompts as well, just to help you work through them. So this is the first envelope, so it's target number 1. And I'm going to ask you to pause the video and really go through remote viewing and get as much detail as you can for envelope 1. And so here is envelope 2. And don't forget to pause the video and remote view for envelope 2. And when you're ready and you have enough information, restart the video and we'll move on to envelope 3. Welcome back. I hope you've enjoyed your 2 remote view sessions, and now we're on the 3rd. Remember, you're going to pause the video, remote view, and then restart for the reveal. So this is envelope 3, target number 3. So welcome back. You should have by now done 3 remote viewing sessions, one for envelope 1, one for envelope 2, and one for envelope 3. So if you haven't done those yet, you might want to pause the video here and go back and review it and undertake those remote views, because I am going to reveal what is in each of the envelopes now. So if you haven't done the activity and you want to, please pause the video and go back and review and undertake the remote view sessions, because spoiler alert, I'm going to open the envelopes now. So are you ready to see how you did? So envelope number 1. And in envelope number 1 was a picture of the Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal is in India. So did you get any of those very striking shapes? Did you get the symmetry? Did you get the strong lines? Did you get any of the colors? What did you feel about the image? What was the temperature? India's a hot place. Were there any smells in the air? So take some time to really review your remote view session and see how accurate you were. What you were able to pick up just from tuning in and locking into the target. So now I'm going to reveal what's in envelope 2. Again, if you haven't done envelope 2 and you want to do that, stop the video here, pause it, go back and do the exercise, because I am going to reveal what was in envelope 2 now. So in envelope 2, we have a picture of, drum roll please, this is the Sydney Opera House in Sydney, Australia. Again, some very, very clear shapes that you may have picked up. You may have also picked up blue, or the fact that there was water. You may have picked up that there was a skyline with, sorry, the wind's blowing it around, with the buildings on the harbour. And again, Australia, a very hot place. You may have picked up the temperature as well. So how well did you do? Now envelope number 3. Again, if you haven't done the remote view for envelope number 3, pause it here, go back and do it, because I am going to open the envelope and reveal to you now what was in. So the final image is the Eiffel Tower in Paris, France. Again, a strong shape. You might have, something towering into the skyline. You might have, a lot of blue. You might have the detail below. It looks like it's a warm day, so you might have had some temperature. You might have had other word associations that have taken you to this spot in France. So have a good look at your remote view session and see how much of it is accurate. Now I am going to post those pictures at the end of the video so that you can see them in a little bit more detail, or you can pause the video at any point just to fix onto that location and have a good look at it, so that you can really review your remote viewing session with the image. And I would love to know how you did. How accurate were you? Were there any correlations to what you were able to describe and draw? And remember, this is just for fun. This is just a way that you can develop your psychic senses. And so, like any muscle, the more you practice it, the better and stronger it's going to become. And this is a fantastic, fun activity for you to do that. As I said earlier, there are definitely many variations of this, and I will be posting those at some point over the next few weeks. Again, lots of fun activities to help you to develop your psychic senses. My passion is to help as many people as possible, as many people who want to live a more intuitive life, tapped into their psychic senses and really exploring all of the information that we can access through not just our five physical senses, but our six senses as well, through sight and hearing and touch and smell and feeling. So as a reminder, I'm Dawn from the International College of Energy Healing, and I teach in-person and online courses for a variety of topics. So energy healing, psychic development, earth-based practices, lots of different ways which you can connect with the inner you, your higher self. And if you like this type of video and you like this content, please do consider subscribing. Hit the bell because you will be notified when I upload a new video. And I try and make them interactive so that you get to practice something as well. So I'm signing off from my backyard in Victoria on Vancouver Island. I'm going to sit out in the sun. And as always, I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day.